Hey there folks, Rinium's here and welcome back to Echoes by Novavox. Thank you 32BR for the code. We're in the hospital, we have another body, and gathering the patients to their next plan of action. Let's go! Because after having, not without some difficulty, gathered up all of Petrovsky's patients, particularly Morrison, who had still been prowling around the outside of the building, I took a deep breath and began to speak. Power has been restored in the basement. This is excellent news, Mr. Fox, and I do apologize for asking, if you have got us all together here, where's Magnus Langdon? Magnus Langdon is dead. 'Twas the foreman, wasn't it? He struck again! Let's not panic, please. Everything suggests it was just an accident. He was electrocuted, switching the generator back on. Oh, Senior Fox, Magnus was no fool. He would never have taken a risk of getting electrocuted. As a Batman with eyes everywhere, come back. Is he going to hurt us? Everyone calm down. If we've asked you all to gather here, it's so we can make sure you stay safe. We've already established that the foreman, and I say again, if such a person exists, which he gave his identity secret. As long as we are all together, you are safe. I'll be ready to take action. What are we gonna do now? We can't just all stay here doing nothing. Yes, Miss Cole, that's exactly what we're going to do. All except Detective Fox, who is going to explore the basement to look for a way to the upper floors. By some muttering, the patients appear to accept our plan. Nodded to Gianna and headed for the basement. The basement building was maze-like, a jumble of badly lit corridors. After several minutes of aimless wandering, I finally came to an intersection that seemed worth investigating. To the left was a closed security door. On the other side, a complicated network of pipes ran along the wall. Pedro had mentioned working in the basement on weapons projects. He could certainly tell me more about this system. Concerning the circumstances of Magnus' death and the suspicions that had been expressed about him, it seemed wiser to exhaust all other possibilities before involving him. Nothing. A map? Emergency evacuation plan was pinned to the wall. It clearly showed the security door in front of me. The plan showed that behind it there was a stairway to the upper floors. The door must have been activated during the fire that brought down the Viracocha project to an end, which explained why the basement was relatively undamaged by the flames. That revived the hope that the security system had also functioned to protect the records. The question was how to disarm the system, which had remained active since the incident, and which had not deactivated with the restoration of the power in the building. Although Terry Graham had mentioned that he had been head of security at the time of the Viracocha project, perhaps he could help me? Nothing's coming to light on the right that I can find. There was a register fixed next to the door. It identified the staff who had gone through the security door. So this access point must lead to the secured part of the building. This gave me access to the names of the last people to have gone through before the incident. The last person to have gone through here was Adeline Lefebvre. Just before her, the register stated, in terse capitals, foreman. I have to ask Adeline about that. Perhaps she'd seen a foreman without realizing it? Found all the clues I could glean in the basement. All I could do was face the patients with them and hope that it would help us to get deeper into the building or to unmask the foreman. I could also check in with my allies and ask for their advice on the next move. Well, let's just talk with Adeline. Fox, I hope you're happy with yourself. Another death among the patients. How many of us will have to die before you take the foreman seriously? As long as you remain together, you're not in any danger. Given his modus operandi up until now, we don't think the foreman is ready to reveal his identity. You don't think? That's pretty flimsy, Detective. I'd remind you that our lives are in your hands. I'm well aware of that, and I promise you that the sheriff and I are doing our utmost to guarantee your safety. And in fact, I've got something to ask you about the foreman. I'm listening. Found access point to the upper floors from the basement. That's good news. What are we waiting for? Fortunately, the security doors are shut. I'm trying to figure out how to get them open. Oh, of course! And I was just on the point of believing you'd finally managed to do something useful, Detective. Not what I want to talk to you about. It's a register. It lists all the employees who passed through the checkpoint. And you're the last person to have gone through before the incident, just after the foreman. Remember anything? You could have seen the foreman at that moment without realizing who he was. Look, Fox, it's all pretty fuzzy for all of us. I spent years having my memory wiped by the treatment. If you think I remember what I might have seen or not seen just before the fire, I vaguely remember going through the security doors just before the alarm went off, yes, but there was no one in front of me as far as I can remember. Too bad. Sorry. You could try talking to Miss Cole. Liz, why? She was the one in charge of compiling the information and keeping the records. Maybe she knows more about the foreman's identity than she realizes. If she can remember enough of her past, she might be able to figure out who he was. Good idea. There's no harm in asking her. I'll go and talk to her. Thanks for your assistance, Miss Lefebvre. Don't thank me. I'll find the foreman and I'll be thanking you. Alright, so I got a new lead on Liz. Let's try Terry. Terry Graham was pacing around the corner of the room. Abel was sticking to him like glue. Hey, Ricky, what's the deal? Why have you asked us all to all stay here? Yes, it sucks. There's nothing to do. I go back to my room. I'll be good. Promise. It's for your own safety. The sheriff and I agree that it's better for everyone to stay here. Stay together. For your safety. Does the sheriff really think that will stop the foreman? The bad controller strikes in the shadows like a ninja. Up to now, he's always managed to protect his identity. If he attacks, the sheriff will bang him up. Yes, Abel. That's the idea. I see. You want to ask me something? Yes, I found this evacuation plan in the basement. Let's see. Yes, I recognize the plan of the building. Did you find the checkpoint that lets you get to the upper floors? Yes, but the security doors... Oh, sorry, I bumped my mic. Security doors are shut. That must be because of the gas. There's a procedure to deactivate the security. There's a control board opposite it. Do you know how to do it? No, was the part of my duties, and they reroute the pipes pretty often according to the experiments. Pedro must know how to do it. Yes, but what? You think Pedro's the foreman? Oh, honestly, Ricky. I agree, it's not likely, but I haven't managed to convince the sheriff and Ernest Bull of that. They've asked me to exhaust all the other options before involving Pedro. Okay, I get it. I can go and take a look. I'm not making any promises. Yes, I'll walk in the mushroom land. Can I come with a big muscle man and a nice detective, please? Behave yourself, Abel. I'll be good as gold, promise. Can you keep an eye on him, Terry? Yes, of course, but I don't think he'll go far. He went down to the basement. Terry spent a while looking at the gas control board while Abel fired incessant questions at him before he gave up and returned to me. No, sorry, Ricky. Board's too damaged. Might mess up and do something stupid. Best thing to do is still to ask Pedro if he'll want to open that door. However, I think there's at least one other way that's not marked on the evacuation plan. But I'd have to explore the basement a bit more. Yes! Stay on the outing! I don't think that's a good idea. Honestly, Ricky, do you really think Abel or I are the foreman? I'm not sure of anything, and at least with the sheriff's plan, we're sure to catch the foreman if he decides to strike again. I want to help! I want to help! Waiting in the lobby's boring. Scary. Ricky, I promise I'll watch Abel every step of the way. If we find anything, we'll come straight back up. Okay, but don't take your eyes off each other, and you're to be back in the lobby in 15 minutes max. Understand? Yes, I understand. Sabrina says she understands too. No problemo, Ricky. We'll do a quick, wreck. And if we don't find anything, we'll give it up. Went back up to the lobby alone, sincerely hoping that the search would pay off and I wasn't gonna regret it later. Let's try Liz. Oh, Mr. Fox, you heard what happened to poor Mr. Lingdon? Terrible. I can't believe he's dead. But I'm so stupid. You saw him. Of course. I'd like to help you, but can I help you, Mr. Fox? Yes, I need your help, Liz. Liz's face lit up at the thought of being useful. She really did need reassurance. Okay, Mr. Fox, tell me what I can do for you. I found a door to the upper levels in the basement. It's shut, but there's a register of the people who've gone through the checkpoint. Last person to go through there before the incident was Adeline Lefebvre, and it showed that the foreman was just before her. Alright. What's that got to do with me? Shouldn't you ask Miss Lefebvre? I did ask her. She said it was you who compiled this type of information for the records. Maybe you remember something? Oh, I don't know, Mr. Fox. Compiled a lot of documents for the director. I had a lot of work, you know. Which checkpoint was it? In the basement. By the security door? I showed her the evacuation plan and I'd given it to Terry Graham. I showed you the place where I found the register. Would it help refresh your memory? I don't know. Maybe? The other patients gathered in the lobby and the sheriff watching them closely. I thought there wasn't much harm in trying. I walked Liz Cole down to the security door. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Fox. I don't remember. I remember this door. It does go to the upper floors. I don't remember having seen the foreman. I wish I could tell you who he is, but I can't. Sorry I can't be more help, Mr. Fox. The security door should open if we do something with the gas pipes. You know what to do. No, I was just a secretary. I don't really know much about the experiments. Pedro worked on the gas. He should be able to help you. Thanks, Liz, but we thought we'd try all the other options before we involved Pedro. Hi! Pedro could help you, I'm sure. Oh, do you think Pedro might be the foreman? No, I don't think so, but the sheriff and Mr. Bull would rather not take the risk. But Pedro's always been so kind to me. Me too, Liz. Anyway, let's get back to the lobby if you don't mind. You'll be safe there. Okay, Mr. Fox. Alright, Gianna. Fox, do you need my help? Yes, I need to talk to you. By the way, evacuation plan. Does it mean anything to you? Vaguely, though maybe Graham could help you find a way in with this plan as a former head of security. I already looked into that. Good thinking, Fox. So I suppose it didn't get you anywhere. I'm working on it. Okay, let's hope it works. On this register, it mentions Adeline. Apparently she was the last person to go through the checkpoint in the basement. That's interesting. She must have gone through just before the security door was activated. A few minutes more and she wouldn't have survived. Since the foreman went before her, that means he survived too. Indeed, that backs up the theory of the reappearance of the foreman. Have you talked to her? Yes, she doesn't remember exactly what happened just before the incident. That was to be expected. However, she did suggest that I had a word with Liz Cole. And did you do that? Yes, I went down to the basement with her in case it brought back any memories. And nothing. She doesn't remember either. Yes, Liz is one of the most fragile patients. She did well to try, but I don't think we can ask too much of her. I don't believe she's dangerous, but she's obviously unstable. She's the only person who welcomed me kindly when I arrived in Greenhearth. I believe in her. One more reason to spare her, Fox. Right, Fox, if there's nothing else, I'll get back to the patients. I wouldn't want some calamity to happen because of my negligence. Come back when you found a way to the upper floors. Alright. I was crossing the lobby, I bumped into Terry and Abel, who were returning from the basement. I went over to them, hoping for some good news. Sorry, Ricky. Found the other door to the upper levels, but it's blocked too. It's in a collapsed part of the building. I see. Thanks for trying. I looked everywhere with a big kind man, and we didn't find anything. What? That's a pity. Luckily, I've got some other leads to chase up. Okay, if you need help again, feel free. Yeah, not where to find me. Face facts. All my other leads had led nowhere. Pedro was our only shot at getting into the upper floors of the building. By the sheriff's misgivings, I'd have to ask for his help and hope he'd be able to unblock the security doors. Let's talk with Ernest first, even though I don't trust. He's the one I don't trust. Oh, Ricky, what can I do for you? A few things to puzzle me. I'd like to hear your thoughts. I'm listening. Evacuation plan. In the basement. Apparently it shows the only way to the upper floors is through the security doors, which were activated during the fire. That's unfortunate. Also a control panel for the gas pipes that run around the whole floor, but I didn't want to risk tampering with it. Guess Pedro could help us with that. He told me he was dealing with exactly that when he worked here during the Viracocha project. Have you thought about talking to Terry Graham first? He was head of security. He should know the layout of the building. That's precisely what I did. And authorized Terry to go down to the basement to check if there was another access point. You did right. Fortunately, he didn't find anything. Found this register that mentions Adeline. Here she went through the security door in the basement just before the incident. The register also mentions the foreman. That's interesting, Ricky, but I'm not sure that helps us very much. Miss Lefebvre remembered something. She would have certainly passed on the information. Register also mentions the foreman. Didn't I mention it? Yeah, you said that already. Sheriff thought it worth looking into. And you're right, it's a dead end. At least you're convinced, Ricky. Oh, actually, Ricky? Yes? We've spoken to Oscar Morrison. Not since Lingdren's death. No. I'm trying to have a word, but he keeps avoiding me. I'm sure he's hiding something. Do you think he could be the foreman? Honestly, no, I don't think so. Since we got here, he's been keeping himself at a distance. And before, I don't know. I guess his family could provide him with solid alibis for the murder of Arthur Petrovsky and Raymond Koloski. And then there's a problem with the motive. We don't know why the foreman started killing. Right, but we don't know Oscar's plan either. He was the one behind bringing everyone back to the hospital. To what end? No idea, Bull. I'll see if he'll talk to me, but I'm not making any promises. Up till now, my attempts at pinning him down have failed, and I don't have any way of getting him to let the cat out of the bag. I made a note to go and talk to Morrison, even though I guessed the exercise would be fruitless. Alright, well, I guess we'll go to Morrison. Oscar Morrison was in the corner of the lobby, aloof from the rest of the patients. He seemed calmer. Is he afraid of the foreman, too? Oh, detective! A fine idea of yours, gathering everyone beneath the vigilant eye of the forces of order. Is your investigation progressing as you'd wish? Do you have any leads as the foreman's identity? Or at the least, have you discovered the way to the records? We're working on it, but that's not what I wanted to talk to you about. Indeed, in that case, I'm all ears. Are you finally going to explain to me why you brought everyone here? I know you haven't told me everything yet. I thought that would be obvious. We have the same objective, Director. My goal has always been to unmask the foreman. As the foreman is probably the person who murdered your friend. What about the bell? What is it for? Hush! Not another word! But, Jane, listen to. I already told you. For everyone's safety, especially your own, I beg, don't say any more. I didn't understand what frightened Oscar Morrison so much, but what was for sure was that I wouldn't get any disclosures by pushing him. So you still won't talk to me. I hope you'll change your mind then. Until then, I'll be watching you, Morrison. Oh, but I'm counting on it, Mr. Fox. I'm counting on it. Alright, Pedro. Oh, Senor Fox. I've been waiting for you to come and see me. Sorry, Pedro. I had other leads to chase up before coming to talk to you. Oh, still, now that the basement is accessible, I thought I'd be able to help you. Unless you think I'm the foreman, don't you? No, absolutely not. Then pourquoi? I told you I'd worked in the basement before the incident. I'm the best qualified person to help you. You know, but I didn't actually convince the sheriff in earnest. They insisted I exhaust all my other leads before asking for your help, Pedro. Me duele, pero entiendo. I'm prepared to do whatever I can to get us to the records. If I was a foreman, it would surely be in my best interest to throw a wrench in the works, wouldn't it? You know how to open the doors to the upper floors? Yes, I think I can disable the security system. Can you tell me how to do it? I can try, Senior Fox, but it would be a lot simpler for me to do it myself. Okay. How long will it take you? If the system's not out of order, it'll be quick. Very well. In that case, I'll let you take care of that. I'll go and get the others. De acuerdo, Senor Fox. No matter what happens, it's best not to hang around in the basement. If there's a gas leak, it could be disastrous. Guess I'll warn everyone not to linger in the basement. Good luck, Senor Fox. You too, Pedro. Ready to explain the plans to the group, we headed for the basement. Gianna and Bull led the way. Pedro was waiting for us at the control panel, and when we were ready to go through, he activated a series of valves and buttons. Roaring lights turned green, one after the other, and the doors opened with a metallic screech. We penetrated the corridor, hidden behind the security doors in single file. The last in line, ready to act in tandem with Gianna if the foreman decided to use the cramped corridor, we were obliged to reverse to straight. I just let Abel pass me when suddenly I heard a unmistakable hissing of a leak. The room rapidly filled with a thick smoke. Dios mío, there's a leak! An arc of electricity lashed the control board. The ancient electrical equipment was about to give up the ghost and take us all with it in a flaming inferno. Move, Fox! It's going to blow! Without hesitating, I threw myself into the corridor. John was waiting at the other end, unable to help us. I prayed that Pedro was right behind me, but when I got out of the corridor, I realized he stayed behind, next to an electrical relay. He watched us sadly for a moment, his face resigned before he pressed the button to the door activation button. Adios, amigos. Last view of Pedro Ferra was about to be engulfed in a geyser of flame, with long haunts my nightmares. We climbed the flights of stairs that separated us from the rest of the group in silence. Gianna was silent, stony-faced. As for me, still in shock from what had just happened. Hold on. Pedro, he didn't deserve to die. Not like that. Arthur's patients awaited us in the kind of foyer. It was Ernest who broke the silence. Where's Pedro? I had to gather all my courage to shake my head in reply. There was a gas leak in the basement, along with an electrical malfunction. Pedro Ferro sacrificed himself, reactivating the security doors to protect us from the flames. Does it mean Mr. Ferro is dead? Yes. It's the foreman again! He's killing us all, one after the other! It might have been an accident. Let's not get carried away. It might have been an accident. This is starting to look like a whole lot of accidents, Fox. First a generator, then gas leak, even though the system had remained perfectly fine for years? Ernest looked Gianna and me aside. We were all together in the foyer, this time. Surely we'd be able to figure out the most likely suspect, wouldn't we? Let's say that's true. What do you suggest we do, Bull? Usually I suppose we put them into custody, but given our peculiar circumstances, we simply isolate them. Isolate them how? I don't know. There must be some way of keeping someone separate from the group in this building, surely. Gianna turned to me. Fox? Okay, I'll go and look for a way to isolate our suspect while you keep an eye on the patients. Thanks, Fox. A path had led me to a room which strangely resembled a classroom. Most of the floor we had reached was locked out of use. It appeared that Pedro's intervention had reactivated at least some of the security doors. Luckily, the way to the upper floor seemed clear. Before I explored further ahead, I had to find a place to isolate the foreman, or at least the most suspect person or persons in our group. There's something. Door. In the room. The door at the end of this room led to a small door was completely empty. A storeroom? What was strange was the door was reinforced, which made it an ideal place to isolate someone. But the key was clearly not in the lock. This. Notice board confirmed that the room had been used as a classroom. Instructor had been none other than Adam Lefebvre, and Gianna Walter was mentioned in the list of students. It was worth reopening the discussion on the subject with those concerned. This memo was pinned to the wall. 5 methods of psychological conditioning. What was it doing in a classroom? Had Adeline put those techniques into practice? Had Abel been the subject of this kind of experiment? To explain his present mental state, even though his isolation after the incident probably hadn't helped matters. I had noted myself to dig a little deeper. Oh, there's something around here. Starting to hear noises. Somewhere. Oh, there's a key. A key lay on one of the tables. After checking, it confirmed it allowed us to lock the small room at the end of the classroom. The glimpse around allowed me to ascertain that I had seen all of the useful clues. They now had a place to lock up the foreman. I had to hope we'd be able to continue our exploration more smoothly and without any more accidents. The first thing I did was talk over our next move with Gianna and Ernest. Well, we'll go to Gianna. I still don't trust Ernest! So, now a storeroom which locks in what looks like an old classroom? That sounds perfect to me, Fox. Ernest Bull, who was listening to the conversation, joined us. Excellent news, my dear Ricky. What do you suggest we do next? You're the detective. Surely you're the best person to identify our suspect number 1, don't you think? In any case, somebody has to keep an eye on the patients while you question them. I suggest we get everyone together in a classroom you found, Fox. I'll be ready to act if needed. Oh, I don't believe your intervention will be necessary. It'll be stupid of the foreman. If he exists, try anything under those circumstances. But that could change if I manage to identify the right suspect. In that case, between the two of us, we should be able to contain a single, unarmed person. I have complete confidence in you, my dear friends. Nothing left to do but get to work. Good luck, Fox. Don't hesitate to share your findings with us. I won't. I'll need your help isolating our identified suspect anyway. Gianna, you're on the list of students. I found a grade sheet. You're mentioned in the list. Show me. Out the paper to Gianna, who stared at it intently for a long while before handing it back to me. No, I'd hoped to revive some memories, but as I told you, I was too young. It's all just a blur. If I understand correctly, Adeline Lefebvre was your teacher? Yeah, she was one of the instructors in the training program. Why? Maybe around the same age. How could she have already been an adult at the time of the incident? I was so silent, but he was watching our discussion carefully. Gianna glanced at him before she spoke. As you probably realize, that's classified, but I guess we're past that now. Aren't we, Mr. Bull? You can rely on my discretion, Gianna, obviously. Well then, it was one of the few successes of the Viracocha project. The objective was to find ways of prolonging human life, with the goal of allowing people with rare expertise to continue to work on their projects much longer than a normal lifespan would have permitted. Most of the survivors living in Greenhearth had benefited from the results of that research, which was promising. But why did the research stop? As you must have realized, some of the side effects couldn't be eradicated. It was because of this research that the patients have had to take the treatment which affected their memories. Exactly. The Bureau decided to bury the work done on the matter. In any case, most of the researchers who could have continued the work died in the incident. Unless it was the object being researched which disappeared or was destroyed. I imagine the Department of Defense giving up something so revolutionary despite the risks. Municipal shrewdness never ceased to amaze me. Did they suspect that at the very moment the bell was in my possession? That's all I know, Bull. As you can imagine, the strict need-to-know basis applies to me, too. In any event, thanks for your candor, Sheriff. It helps me see things more clearly. Alright, we're just going down the list, I guess. Is it the man with the eyes everywhere gone? Abel was extremely nervous. He seemed gentle as a lamb, but was I being fooled by appearances? Did he actually be the foreman? Is Sabrina safe now? Oh, is Sabrina safe now? Yes, Abel, you're safe for the time being. The nice policeman is lying because the nice policeman already lied to me. I promised Sabrina, but Mr. Broom Broom Cars ended up roasted. And maybe you want to ask me some questions to solve the case? I like solving cases. That means the strange people will leave my house. Yes, I've got some questions for you, Abel. Okay. The mental conditioning experiments. I found some documents that mention mental conditioning experiments. Does that mean anything to you, Abel? That's when the people might look in my head to look what's inside, right? I guess that's it, right? Yes. That was a long time ago, before my house was all broken. Sabrina doesn't like us talking about it. Please, Abel, it would really help me a lot if you tried to remember. It might help me know who the foreman is? That person who checks for being good? No, Sabrina hasn't seen him for years. Abel either. Anyway, we never knew who he was. He changed his face all the time to disguise himself. What do you mean? I can't explain it any better. He changed his face, see? There, that's all I can tell you, Mr. Nice Big Police Detective. I'm insisted, but my instinct told me I wouldn't get anything clearer than the clue he'd just given me. Although clue was probably a bit of an overstatement. Gas leak. There was a gas leak in the basement, and that's what caused Pedro Ferreira's death. Yes, I knew the mushroom land was dangerous. Sabrina told me to always be careful of mushrooms. Did Terry do anything in the basement? Yes, he went on a trip with me. We looked at the colors of the electrical lights, it was like the movies. Did you touch the electric lights? No, I would have liked to, but the big muscle man didn't want to. We're going in circles. I decided not to pursue any further questions. I found it hard to believe that Abel was capable of literally sabotaging the gas in order to eliminate the patients. Nothing he told me made me certain of his innocence. Alright. Harry Graham. Harry's pacing around the corner of the room. Oh, Ricky, we're in deep shit. Magnus first, now poor Pedro. Still no lead on the culprit, huh? Exactly. I want to talk to you about that. You and Abel are among the patients who went down to the basement. And you were also in the building when Magnus died. Honestly, Ricky, you don't think I'm the foreman, do you? Really, Ricky? You disappoint me. I helped you. Have you already forgotten that? It was me who tipped you off about the hospital. I even warned you that Magnus and Pedro were in danger, remember? You think it would be pretty dumb to draw your attention to it if I wanted to bump them off? Abel went down to the basement too, didn't he? Why are you accusing me and not him? I'm not accusing anyone at the moment. I'm just asking questions. Yeah, sure. Harry hasn't hesitated to pin the blame on Abel, but was that enough to draw any conclusions from? I had to try a different approach. There's something else. I saw how you were around the sheriff. Are you scared of her? What happened between the two of you? Nothing happened between us. Are you sure? Yeah, just I thought if it was the sheriff who got contents of the safe. If you follow me. Screwed up royally. You're all buddy-buddy with Walter. You think she's playing straight, huh? Oh yeah, well, let me tell you. She's not cool, man. She's not cool at all. Harry crossed his arms and glared at me. Conversation was over. Should I trust him rather than Abel? I had to make my mind up. Alright, Adeline. Ah, there you are. I hope you've managed to prepare a sounder plan with your little friends because it has been a big success up till now, if I may say so. We're doing our best. I can promise you that the sheriff and I are doing our best to ensure your safety. But your best is far from satisfactory, Detective. I suppose you didn't come here to talk about that. What can I do for you? I found this pamphlet about methods of psychic conditioning. Does that strike any chords? What do you want me to say? You can judge me all you want, but don't be surprised. We try to explore the innermost depths of the human psyche with the sole intention of turning it inside out like a sock. No, I still have no regrets. Okay, but what for? Well, possibilities were endless. Extracting information from foreign nationals, preparing our armed forces for sensitive operations, debriefing our armed forces after traumatic experiences on the terrain too, of course. Industrial espionage, undercover work, it's a long list. There was a silence. Alan didn't seem to have even the slightest feeling of guilt or regret. For me, I was sickened. I found this grade sheet in the classroom. I suppose this is where you have your classes. Yes, it is. Now you mention it. With all the damage, I hadn't realized which part of the building we were in. Can you tell me a bit more about your work here? I already told you. I was doing a training program. What purpose? Yeah, it was to create the next generation of elite soldiers, able to adapt to all sorts of crisis situations. So Gianna was part of the program. Yes, but I already told you all that. I don't see how that's going to help you know who the foreman is. Yeah, re-examine your priorities, Detective. But any opinion on the foreman's identity? I established which of the patients is most likely to turn out to be the foreman. Do you have any thoughts? You'd be better off questioning Oscar Morrison instead of wasting your time with me. Do you have any proof? No, unfortunately, I've got no proof, but I'm sure he's hiding something. He's your man, in my view. Look, Alan, I promise you I'm not ignoring any lead, but if you don't have any proof... God damn it, Detective, you're wasting your precious time to questioning me. We could already be holding the culprit. I don't plan to end up like Magnus or Pedro because of you. There's no point insisting. Adeline was too concerned about her own safety to try to help me. Alright. Itchy leg. Continuing down the list, Oscar. Oh, Detective Fox, have you come to finally offer me an apology? Excuse me? Why would you want me to offer an apology? Well, no, that appears fairly obvious, doesn't it? Despite all my efforts to cooperate since your arrival in town, you haven't ceased to threaten me and accuse me of wrongdoing. With this new accident in the basement, you will surely finally concede. I do hope my innocence. Hang on. If you're not responsible for the explosion in the basement, which could, by the way, just be an accident. What about the rest? Several eyewitnesses, with yourself the first among them, could confirm that I hadn't set foot in the building before the death of poor Mr. Lindgren. Oscar was right. I had no reason to keep him on my list of potential suspects. Alright. And so, Oscar had wrong-footed me, and I was getting a kick out of bringing it to my attention. I apologize. I admit I was wrong to suspect you. You see, that wasn't so hard. I accept your apology, and thank you for your honesty, Mr. Fox. I observed your little confabulation with Walter and Bull earlier. You're racking your brains to know which of us could be the foreman, aren't you? Suppose you've got an opinion on that. Oh, unlike yourself, Mr. Fox, I'm no detective. Do you truly wish me to draw what would probably be hasty conclusions? Give it a shot. Well, it's quite simple. You have two options. Either you consider that the accident that took the life of our dear mechanic was an act of sabotage, which would certainly allow you to proceed by elimination, or you try to follow the thread of investigation, taking all the other elements into consideration, from Petrovsky's death to that Magnus by way of Raymond, which may be a little too ambitious for your intellect, I'm afraid, and of which, in any case, will not bring you to any conclusion that you haven't already made. What do you mean? You're going to swiftly realize that, with the exception of yourself, the Sheriff Bull, and of course myself, any of the patients still alive may be a foreman. I see. Under the circumstances, it would be indelicate of me to keep you any longer. I wish you bon courage, and most especially, good luck, Mr. Fox. Don't forget our lives are in your hands. Morrison was irritating, but unfortunately he wasn't wrong. Liz seemed more and more lost and nervous. She was completely unequipped to deal with a series of violent deaths which had punctuated our progress through the building. Still, she'd gone down to the basement with me, which made her a potential suspect. Oh, Mr. Fox, will this be over? Can I go back to the diner soon? Just a little bit longer, Liz. It'll soon be over. What happened to Mr. Farah was horrible. He was so kind. Talking of that, you went down to the basement with me. Oh, you suspect me? But how could I have done that? I'm just following procedure. It's nothing personal, Liz. Oh, I understand, Mr. Fox. But Mr. Graham and Mr. Smith went down there too, didn't they? Yes, I've already questioned them. Oh, okay. I don't know what to tell you, Mr. Fox. You didn't lose sight of me the whole time we were down there. Liz was right. I can't see how she could have sabotaged a pipe while I was watching her. Fortunately, I couldn't say the same with Terry and Abel. For all we know, it was just an accident, right? Poor Mr. Farah and poor Mr. Lindgren. They were regulars at the diner. I could never wish any harm on them, and I'm really going to miss them, you know? I believe you, Liz. Oh, thank you, Mr. Fox. Thank you so much. I'd have been so upset if you suspected me. You're the only person who's been kind to me, to listen to me. To the others, I was just a secretary. Just a waitress. It doesn't bother me now. All I want is to bring people a little happiness. Liz clearly didn't have an ounce of malice in her. I couldn't even imagine that she could be any kind of murderer at all, let alone the foreman. My suspicions would fall on Abel Smith and Terry Graham. For all, out of the other patients, they were the only ones to have had access to the basement. Alright. Anything new, Fox? I questioned Terry. Okay, I guess that was hard work. True, Terry's pretty edgy, but to be honest, I don't know what to think. On the one hand, Terry warned me about the risk that Pedro and Magnus were taking. On the other, because of me, he and Abel had access to the basement, and one of them clearly could have had the opportunity to set off a gas leak. Should have never left them alone. Don't sweat it, Ricky. You've done the best you could in a difficult situation. Thanks, Ernest. Right. If you want my opinion, Fox, Terry's probably dangerous. Whether or not he turns out to be the foreman, he could become violent if he feels he's in danger or if he panics. Personally, that seems like a good enough reason to keep him separated from the others, especially if you don't have any more conclusive leads. Thanks for the advice, Gianna. Well, think it over. Abel. I have a question to Abel Smith. At least, let's just say question, just putting it strongly. And what conclusions did you draw? It's impossible to come to a verdict without any confidence, unfortunately. Fact is, he insisted on going down to the basement, so he obviously could have sabotaged the gas piping. That's my fault completely. I shouldn't have dropped my guard. True, it must be admitted you certainly showed a lack of judgment there, Fox. However, what makes me wonder is that he doesn't have the profile of a criminal able to coolly plan several cold-blooded murders. He could very well be playing his cards close to his vest, Ricky. Remember, he's got no alibis for the murders of Raymond or Dr. Petrovsky. That's true. Everything suggests that he hasn't left this building for years. Except if, once again, he's playing close to his vest, and wasn't the former reputed to be a master of subterfuge. And I have to admit, Bull's right, Fox. It's possible to say that Abel Smith's not our man. Unless there's something else I noticed. Abel told me he knew that Mushroom Land was dangerous. The Mushroom Land? That's what he called the basement. Do you mean that he knew there was no need to sabotage the gas because he already knew the system was faulty? Just a hypothesis, but in any case, why insist on going with Terry Graham? It's hard to say, Hawks, but whatever you decide, I'll support you. I question Adeline. I had a word with Adeline. Oh, that's pointless in my opinion, Ricky. We're already sure that Adeline's not the foreman. Are we? What makes you say that? It's simple, Ricky. Remember the person in charge of the checkpoint had noted that the foreman had just before her on that register you found in the basement? Yes, you're right. That clears her completely. I should have thought of that. Don't apologize, my friend. You're under a lot of pressure, but that's why I'm here, to help you. I question Oscar. I had a word with Oscar. And it made out to me quite rarely that he hadn't stepped foot in the basement until we went through the checkpoint. The facts are clear. Oscar can't be the foreman. Oscar might not be the foreman, but I'm sure he's hiding something. You're right. There's always something suspicious about how he behaves. Still, Fox, his actions are in line with his declared goal of wanting to protect his former colleagues. After all, it's true. He wouldn't be the first patient to demonstrate some, let's say, surprising behavior. At first sight, anyway. Saying that, I agree with you. It's best we keep our guard up. Questioned Liz. Good. What did you conclude? I had to cross her off our suspect list. And yet, she did go down to the basement with you, Ricky. Yes, and that does give her a window of opportunity, but unlike Terry and Abel, who also went down to the basement, I didn't take my eyes off of her. That seemed like a good enough reason to clear her completely. Honestly, Gianna, you know Liz, she wouldn't hurt a fly. I'm with Ricky on this one. I don't believe she could be the killer at all. It's true we still don't know the foreman's motives, but Liv seems to only want one thing, that we let her just get on with her quiet little life. Still, she was close to the head of the center before the incident. One more reason to keep her with us. She's the best place to help us find the records, isn't she? Alright, you talk me around. Forced to acknowledge that Liz closed foreman doesn't make much sense, no matter what angle you look at it from. I have no desire to make the same mistake with Pedro Ferra. The same mistake I made with Pedro Ferra. We should never have suspected him. Ernest contented herself with nodding in agreement. Pedro's death could have been avoided, and we knew that all too well, all three of us. Made my decision. I'm listening. Unlock them both up. I'll check something out real quick. You know what? We're gonna go with both of them. I think we should lock up Terry Graham and Abel Smith. Both of them? Yes, there are two main suspects, and I can't decide between them. Fox, just imagine that Terry or Abel does turn out to be the foreman. Realize you're condemning the other to certain death if it should turn out that his cellmate is on the list of those to be killed. I hadn't thought of that. Sheriff's right, Ricky. You have to make a choice. Alright, in that case... No! We're going with Terry. It's Terry we should lock up. That would be a wise decision, Fox. Terry Graham appears to be extremely on edge. If he suddenly turns violent, as he has done in the past, we can find ourselves in a very delicate situation. His unpredictable behavior might become a problem, whether he turns out to be the foreman or not. Right. Now we just need to put our plan into effect. I already loudly expressed his disagreement with my decision, but finally allowed himself to be escorted away by the sheriff. The door closed on him. I pray that we made the right decision. At least we'd isolate a member of the group who might be volatile, but we were also cutting off an asset who might have protected us at the foreman's truck again. Then we'd all climb the stairs up to the landing on the top floor, which had offices on one side, and nice timing on the achievement, and the research laboratory on the other? Yes. You know what, though? This is actually a really long chapter, and I'm probably right at the end, but we're gonna call it good there. I have to investigate around this and talk with everyone and work this out. And probably someone else is gonna die, because it's probably Abel. Probably whoever the opposite of who you just locked up was, isn't it? But we are gonna call it good there, so thank you for watching. Thank you, Player2PR, for the code for the game. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, and or subscribing. If you really enjoyed it, consider supporting the channel. All the support greatly helps her keep being content like this and more. I'll links for that in the description below, along with links to me on social media. So thank you again for watching, and until next time, this is Rinium T signing out. Bye!